back to you for our next discussion as well. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has called for a direct face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a bid to end the ongoing war. President Zelenskyy emphasized that real progress can only be made at the highest leadership level, saying the timing and topics for such a summit need to be determined. He plans to discuss key issues including a ceasefire, security guarantees, and the framework for a leaders' summit. Meanwhile, President Zelenskyy is also scheduled on calls with Germany, France, and Italy to coordinate efforts and explore progress towards lasting peace in the region. This call comes shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy Witkoff held talks with Putin in Moscow and following Trump's indication that he could meet Putin very soon. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Julia Kozdobina. She's a senior fellow of Ukrainian Prism. Thank you, Julia, for staying with us. Now, how realistic is President Zelenskyy's call from your assessment?
You mean call for the meeting with Putin?
Yes.
Well, that's something that Putin has refused to do for a long time. Zelenskyy and Putin met only once, and that was back in December 2019, if I remember correctly, when Zelenskyy was just elected president, and the talks were still about resolving the Russian aggression against Ukraine, which was localized to the Donbas region of Ukraine. And ever since then, Putin has refused to meet with Zelenskyy, and he has claimed that Zelenskyy is not a legitimate president, and that Putin claimed that he would only talk to the United States. And the Russian narrative of this war is that Ukraine is not an independent state, that Ukraine is a puppet of the West that is being manipulated by the West. And so Zelenskyy keeps insisting on this meeting, because for us, of course, it would mean that Ukraine is a party deciding its own fate, that Putin is not deciding it with the United States alone. And luckily, we have support from both the United States and our European allies on this respect, that Ukraine is an independent state, and that if there is a peace deal to be made, Ukraine is the one who is going to be consulted, and nothing is going to be decided about Ukraine without Ukraine's participation. How realistic it is, it's a difficult question. I think it's going to depend on how much pressure President Trump is capable of putting on Russia, and how strong Ukraine is going to be on the battlefield. So whether or not Ukraine will be able to deny victory to Russia, because Russia's hope at this point is that while Putin continues manipulating the Western community by promises of a negotiated settlement, he's going to have gains on the battlefield, and also he's going to have gains in terms of breaking the morale of Ukrainians, because he not only pushes at the front line, he also attacks Ukrainian civilians, Ukrainian civilian infrastructure. And only a few days ago, a building was destroyed in Ukrainian capital, and the many people who were just sleeping in their beds, they died, and it was destroyed with a high precision weapon. So that's something that they do quite regularly, trying to break the morale. And so so that's Putin's hope, that while he is manipulating these promises, because even if we listen to their statements regarding this meeting between Trump and Putin, they said, well, we have already coordinated the meeting place, but we don't know how soon the meeting may take place. And the meeting with Zelenskyy is supposed to follow the meeting between Trump and Putin. So definitely he's going to keep playing for time, and whether or not he agrees is going to depend on how much pressure is put on him, and whether or not Ukraine is able to deny him victory in the war.
Thank you very